Hey, it's Shannon from iHeartRadio Nights here with Velvet Code. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
for having me. So we were talking about your fashionable outfit that you have here.
Thanks.
I just watched Rocket Man this week in theaters, and it's giving me like serious Elton vibes.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where some influence comes from?
You know what? It's Elton John was the first concert I saw.
No way.
Yeah, I was very young. I didn't really understand how he'd influenced me, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
nice.
he was who he was.
Absolutely.
And he was, felt like he needed to tell everybody that as well.
Yeah. Do you think that's really important with being an artist, is just being your authentic self?
Absolutely. I think it's more important now than ever because, there's lots of, there's a political climate right now where people are trying to take away your rights and telling you to do something a certain way. And I'm all about, be yourself, be free, don't be afraid.
Yeah, and it seems like you have a lot of like positive messaging in your music.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with things like anxiety and like mental health issues. Why do you choose to go that route?
Well, personally, I've struggled with some anxiety issues myself, and I know that I can see people going through a lot of tough times right now, and I think it's important to just remind people that who you are is okay, and just believe in yourself.
Yeah, I like that. And that's kind of a good message, too, with Pride this month, too, right? And you obviously are a huge advocate for Pride. You're performing at Pride this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it about Pride that just really hits home for you?
Well, it's... I am a gay male, so that's one thing. I believe that it's, again, I had a chance to come out and be myself. But when I grew up, it was really difficult, and I can't imagine what people are going through in small towns and not able to, speak their mind and just be themselves. It can be tough.
Yeah, and it's still like such a thing that people are struggling with. Like I'm gay myself. I had a really bad coming out experience. So it's good that there are like people like you in the limelight that can kind of share that message and
absolutely.
be like, look at me, it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's so great. Yeah. So I would define your music as electro pop. Would that be correct?
Yep.
What made you decide to go that route?
I was a big fan of bands of Goldfrapp and Dangerous Muse when I lived in New York, and then from the '80s, Erasure, Depeche Mode, all of those bands influenced me, and so that's the music I loved to listen to and I grew up with, and I make sad dance songs, so I'm not. Although they are melancholy, I do want people to dance to my music. So the '80s were that for me. Right, so I just thought I'm going to make music that I love, and hopefully everybody else will love it.
Is it difficult to make like a sadder song, but then put it to like dance music? Because that's not something you see every day.
No, it can be hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go the whole different direction.
Right.
I'll be in the studio and say, you know what, today I'm going to write to this dance beat, I'm going to write a sad song, and I end up slowing everything down to half the tempo, and it ends up being a ballady, very, very darkish, so who knows where it goes sometimes.
Yeah, and you just released your album.
Yes.
Congrats, like a week ago.
Yep, it's called Dreamer.
How does it feel to create this whole body of work and then just like release it out into the world?
It's, you know what, it took me a number of years to put this album together.
Did it?
And luckily with the help of Wendy Starland, she helped me, she was a co-writer on this album. It was a lot easier. It was a long process, but I'm really happy with it. I hope everybody loves it.
Yeah. How do you know when an album is done then, when you're like working on it this long of time? When do you reach the point where you're like, okay, it's done. I'll tie a bow on it and It's,
sometimes you have to stop yourself, because I could continue to I'm still listening to it saying, well, maybe I could have done this and that. But you know what? You got to say it's a piece of art, and it is what it is. It was made in a certain time and a time period, when I was going through something. And at the end of the day, I said to myself, the album is going to be finished by a certain time, and it just happened to be finished.
Yeah, cool. I always have such respect for artists, especially like you, that like in an industry that can be so competitive, it just seems like so scary to try and get in there and be competitive. Do you find that in this industry?
Absolutely. I mean,
is that not terrifying?
It is. There's just so much out there, and everybody can put out music now, and they should. And if you're an artist and you are, thinking you can't do it, you should feel like you can. Just, get Logic or Ableton and start making music, start writing, because at the end of the day, writing good songs is the key to all of this.
Yeah. Did you start as a writer and then producer, or
Absolutely.
how did it all begin?
Yeah. When I was 12, I wrote murder mystery stories.
No way.
And none of them got published, so I wasn't that kind of a writer. But I was always a creative person. I'm a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
So out of if I could say there's one thing I'm a storyteller. So that's how it all started. And again, if you're writing and you have a niche, just do it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Well, now that you're gaining all of this success, maybe we can get that murder mystery back.
Yeah.
Re-release it.
Yeah,
I'm sure there will be a lot of people that want to read that.
Yeah, I have thought about every time I go home to see my mom to pull them out and take a read, but I haven't done it yet, but I will.
Like post it online or something.
Yeah. Maybe.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.